PokeMMO, the largest Pokemon MMO on the market, has been growing rapidly the past few years. It's seen its fair share of good updates and a few recent updates that have come under scrutiny. I have put a fair bit of time into PokeMMO myself, and recently I started a new account to see what PokeMMO has to offer for a new player experience. We'll go over what I like about the game, what I don't like, how the devs have been updating the game and the controversy surrounding a recent update, and finally, whether or not PokeMMO is the right Pokemon MMO for you. Let's start with what I like. One of the things I like a lot is the community. The community in this game is incredible. It has the largest player base by far of any Pokemon MMO on the market, which comes with a huge, dedicated community that truly love this game. If you are looking for a community to get involved into and one that'll stick to this game till its dying breath, this is the Pokemon MMO for you. There's also, what I like is a lot of YouTubers that play and make videos for this game that really pump out content at a surprising rate. I really enjoy the fact that at any given time, there's going to be 1 or 2 or even 5 new videos of different YouTubers uploading on PokeMMO every single day. So if you're playing this game and you want to listen to or even watch videos while you're playing, this is super easy to do with PokeMMO. Naturally, I'm a huge proponent for YouTubers, seeing as I am one myself, and I really enjoy playing games and watching YouTubes. I just said YouTubes. I sound like a 90-year-old. Regardless, I like watching videos, and this game has a ton of videos to keep you occupied while you're playing the game. Another thing is they have player and official events going on all the time. So if there's not an official event going on, most likely somebody is creating a community event that there's something to be doing almost every day in the game, which is really cool. The community is really top-notch on PokeMMO. Another thing I really enjoy is the fact that you get to play through 5 different regions. There are fully fleshed out regions. There's no like small little bits in here and there. It's a full playthrough every single region from Kanto all the way to Unova. I really enjoy this aspect of the MMO. You get each playthrough, you can build your own team, which makes each playthrough special. It makes each playthrough actually take its time. It feels like you're playing through a genuine Pokemon game while you're playing PokeMMO. It feels like what we would want out of an official Pokemon game with official regions. This one's got you covered, even though it is unofficial. Now, the playthroughs are genuinely difficult as well. So beating each Elite Four is difficult. It's fulfilling. It's something you have to plan for. You have to make teams. Now, of course, there are ways to cheese things, and you can run certain things to make the game really easy to just try to rush your way through it. But realistically, most people are making their own team, and they're just taking their time through the playthroughs, and that's exactly what I feel like you should do when you're playing this game, because this is the best part of the game in my opinion. Next, the graphics. The graphics are really solid because they're built on the actual ROMs of Pokemon. So you have to actually have the Fire Red ROM, and I think either black or white, or maybe black to white, so I can't remember which one specifically it is. But building off of these ROMs makes the graphics naturally be those ROMs graphics. And all the battles are done in Gen 5 graphics, which means you get Gen 5 sprites, which I think is easily the best Pokemon has ever looked, is in Gen 5. So I really enjoy the graphics. All of them come together as well in this charm that I feel is very welcome for the Pokemon community. I really enjoy the graphics in this game. The fact that all of this also can be played on your phone is incredible, and having it done with ROMs helps with that transition and makes it super easy to play this game, and it feels very easy and inviting to play because of the graphics. I really enjoy it. I can't talk enough about the graphics. I think it's really solid. Lastly, I'm going to talk about it in things I like, even though I personally don't like it, but the PvP. I don't like PvP. I'm never a PvP person. I don't like PvP Pokemon. I like PvP in other games, but never in Pokemon. Just never been something that I've enjoyed. I genuinely dislike it really bad. But with that being said, this game is amazing if you do like PvP. What I really enjoy about it personally is there is a ladder system, so that if I did want to get into PvP, I could at any moment just join the ladder. And there's even a ladder for like random Pokemon fights, so I just get a team of random Pokemon. I don't even have to build it myself, and then can try to fight somebody and try to beat somebody with this random team. Now, I know there's a lot of randomness with that, but it also comes with a lot of skill, because you have to see how you can adapt to this random team that you're given and also adapt to the random team that you're fighting against. Not only that, but it has a system in place where you can watch every person's battles, you can check the usage of each Pokemon, you can check the usage of each item, you can see the setup of Pokemon, you can see all of this at a glance very easily, so it makes it, at the very least, I don't love PvP, but it makes entering PvP significantly easier. It makes it to where the transition feels natural. You can look at what's good, what's bad, what's having success, what's not. You can try something new. You can do different ladders because there's like OU, UU, all that kind of stuff. You can do so much. The PvP is about as fleshed out as you can in regards to PvP in Pokemon, and I think that if you are a PvP fan, you will love this game because they give you a lot of tools and a lot of things to make PvP as seamless and usable as possible. Now let's go over the things that I didn't like, but before we do, please keep in mind that this is just my opinion. This is how I see it. I've put in a decent amount of time in this game, but I'm not an expert in every aspect, so please don't flame me in the comments if you just completely vehemently disagree with me. This is just how I see it, and this is what I think about this game and what I don't like. The first thing I have to say is the difficulty of setup. Now, I know most people that play this game have already set it up and have already know the process and have done it probably multiple times, maybe even done it on your phone, things like that, but it's not as simple as other Pokemon MMOs on the market. Other Pokemon MMOs on the market, you click download and you play the game. This one has more setup. You have to have the ROMs in order to play this, and you have to be able to install those ROMs in the game. Now, it's not difficult. It's genuinely not difficult, but it is a hurdle that new players will have to jump over that aren't normal for other Pokemon MMOs. And it's a good thing that it's like this because I think it gives it longevity, and I think it's a good thing for the game overall. But I will say that is something that a lot of people are going to struggle with. And I know this because I make guides all the time on how to do something, and you'd be surprised at something that seems easy for somebody might not be very easy for others. So just know that if you're not terribly technically inclined, this might be a little bit more difficult for you. If it is difficult for you, I have a video linked in the description going over how to play PokeMMO. So I have you covered if you don't know how to do this, but that is just something to keep in mind. And I know that you veteran players know how to do this, but some of the new players are going to have problems with this. Also, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here because I can already hear someone saying it in the comments. They're going to say something along the lines of, well, it's like this because they don't want to be sued by the Pokemon company. I promise you, at any moment, at any time of the day, the Pokemon company could come to PokeMMO and say, get off our market, you're now closed, here's a cease and desist, and they would have to listen. There is nothing stopping the Pokemon company, the largest media franchise of all time, from coming in and shutting down PokeMMO. I hate that there's this rumor that suddenly, like, they had to do this certain thing, like they did the ROM so it's legal. There's nothing legal about what PokeMMO is doing. They are allowed to exist by the Pokemon company. And I don't know why the Pokemon company allows this and not other things, but I promise you, I don't see any evidence. And I would love if you genuinely have evidence that they were given a cease and desist, and then they changed some things to make sure they're compliant. If that is the thing, and I want to see that, I genuinely want to see that, but I have never heard other than anecdotal evidence of people saying that, and then other people spew that nonsense. I think it's nonsense. I think the Pokemon company could shut PokeMMO down and all the Pokemon MMOs with a snap of a finger if they wanted to. They don't. I don't know why they don't, but I promise you they could. They're a massive company. You are using their IP. It doesn't matter. You can't just get away with it because you're using it on a ROM. Okay, tangent over. Back to the things I don't like. And the next thing, after defeating the regions, there really isn't a ton of things for players to do that are PvE focused. Make sure you hear that end part. PvE focused. If you like PvP, there's hundreds, if not thousands of hours to keep you occupied. But for somebody like myself, who I enjoy PvE content, I really think after you beat the regions, there's not much to do. Other than like shiny hunting, which is its own thing, and if you like that, great. But if you don't, that's, you know, like, and I personally don't like that it's 1 in 30,000, so it's not something that, like, I don't view that as content necessarily. And then, like, maybe creating Pokemon and making them the best they can be, that's the next thing to do. But, like, outside of that, yes, there are, like, raids and there's some later game stuff that you can do, but that's only during event season, which we'll get into as another reason why one of the things I don't like about PokeMMO is the reliance on event season, which will be the next point. But for this point, like, outside of events, like, and you completed the game, like, I mean, I guess you could go to catch events, And that's about it. So I really think there's a lot that could be fleshed out with the PvE side of PokeMMO that hasn't been done, that has been done in other Pokemon MMOs. There's a lot of things to do in other Pokemon MMOs once you beat the Elite Four that I really think they need to get around to doing for PokeMMO. So let's talk about the reliance on event season. This is the last thing I talk about with things I don't like. Then we'll talk about some controversy about a recent update. But one thing I don't like about is the reliance on event season. And that's generally between like Halloween and Easter-ish. That time frame between like October and April is really like considered like event season, quote unquote. And I think the PokeMMO devs can kind of be a little too reliant on this time of the game to where it feels like if it's not during those times, you're kind of just playing the game and there's a lot less to do. But then when those event seasons come around, there's a lot to do and there's a lot of things. I don't understand the idea of locking end-game content behind these seasons. I get that the way they've set up their end-game content, it would be broken if it's just available year-round, but I think that they can balance the game around having content year-round that isn't so reliant on these event seasons. And I think that event seasons are good. I think they're fun. I think they're enjoyable. I think that it's cool to be doing things like that. I'm all for that. But for whatever reason, all PokeMMOs do this. I don't know, Pokemon MMOs do this. All other Pokemon MMOs do this as well. They like wait for their big updates during this time. So it all kind of happens at once. And then there's like this drought during the rest of the year. I think it'd be better to spread those things out than to just have them jammed into that specific event season, especially between Halloween and Christmas. That's like the big season for all Pokemon MMOs, and PokeMMO is no different. It's kind of reliant on that, which I'm not the biggest fan of, and I wish, because I recently played through this game when it wasn't during that season, so it felt like, okay, I'm not getting the full PokeMMO experience because I'm not playing within that event season. You could say that this gives you an opportunity to get ready for event season during the off season, and there you need some breaks to that. Honestly, I think that's kind of cope though. I think that it's reasonable to have consistent updates year round and then maybe ramp it up a tad bit during that Halloween Christmassy area, but I think ultimately it's better and more healthy to have it spread out and to enjoy the game year round so it doesn't feel like you're only playing for event season. So let's go over the updates of PokeMMO, and we'll go over some controversy when it comes to that just recently that we'll go over just a little bit. But what I do enjoy about this game is that although they do tend to have the bigger updates be during event season, I do love that there is consistent updates with this game. And it feels like just in the past like 3 or 4 years, the game has updated a ton, and they've added a ton of stuff in regards to like new ways to get good Pokemon, like alpha Pokemon. They've added legendaries, like roaming legendaries like Zapdos, I'll just say the birds and the dogs. You can get the birds and the dogs. Instead of listing all of those, that'd be annoying. You can get all of those. They added things to do, which I really enjoy. And I think that's really good. But recently, there has been an update, and we're going to talk about it, called the Egg Incubator Controversy. I call it that. I don't think it's actually called anything, but that is what recently has been happening, and everyone's been talking about this. So those of you that are new to this game, I'll try to catch you up on the controversy. So in PokeMMO, you can hatch eggs like you can in any other Pokemon game, and normally you'd have one Pokemon that you run around with and 5 eggs, so you can hatch 5 eggs at a time. What recently happened is they added both permanent and then we're gonna add temporary incubators that allow you to hatch this faster. As of now, and I think still is the case, you can get 8 permanent incubators, so that means you can have 8 eggs hatching at a time while also being able to do anything else in the game. You don't have to actually have the Pokemon take up the slots. It'll be in a separate place where you can actually use the incubators. So that's already came under a lot of controversy. You came from 5 Pokemon being hatched at once to now, if you did the 5 in your inventory and you did 8, that's 13 being hatched at once. So it was already a huge buff. So it was already under a lot of scrutiny, but as of now, and as what I understand, all of those have already been added and you can already use those now. On top of that, most people didn't have a ton of problems with that. It just felt like it was a huge buff, and it was kind of like, okay, that's interesting. But they also added the ability, or want to add, they have yet to add it. They put it on the back burner. I think they are kind of slowing it down and waiting for the controversy to kind of fly over before adding them. They're adding 7 more incubators that you can buy on the cash shop. So you can spend your real money to buy 7 more incubators, taking you up to 15 incubators and be able to hatch 15 eggs at one time. But of course, only if you pay. And the reason why this is impactful is because a lot of people do hatch eggs in this game because they go for egg shinies, and there's a lot of stuff that's with that. I don't really want to go into all the intricacies of hatching and breeding in the game, but it is a pretty impactful process in the game, and just even hatching eggs, not even necessarily for shiny hunting, but you can even do it for, you know, getting real Pokemon, good Pokemon. You can make money by breeding Pokemon. So there was a lot of breeding, a lot of things going on, and this kind of just changed the game in a really, really heavy way. And a lot of people felt like adding those 7 incubators especially is just making it to where you almost force people to either pay in-game money or pay to have somebody else sell that to them, because you can sell the in-game items with in-game money. You can sell it to other players. You can buy it from the cash shop and then sell it to other players for in-game money. And so in other words, you would have to have these incubators to be fully efficient. So it really felt like, yes, there are a little bit of pay-to-win aspects to the cash shop, but they're very, very minor, and they feel very like almost like not worth it necessarily for the pay-to-win. But this very much feels worth it. Where like the biggest buff I think is like a 25% XP buff from like the quote-unquote membership of PokeMMO. But for this, like that's almost 100% efficiency going from 8 to 15. It's like a 85% better, like just instantly if you pay money, as opposed to if you didn't, or if you had to buy it from somebody else. So it just seems a little too greedy. I think if there was maybe 1 or 2 temporary incubators, it would make sense. And if it went from like 8 permanent to like maybe 5, just to make it a little bit more reasonable, that would make sense. That's just my personal opinion, though. I would love to hear your guys' comments on the controversy in the comments down below. I know it's been a big topic recently with PokeMMO, and I'm very surprised that the devs have tried this. We'll see if they go through with it. I'm hoping they don't. I think it's really stupid if they do. But again, that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear the other side of it. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments below. I know I spent a lot of time talking about things I don't like and also the controversy, but overall, genuinely, I believe this is a really, really good Pokemon MMO. It's one of the best, if not the best, Pokemon MMO on the market. Personally, I don't think it's the best MMO, but I do think it's really, really, really solid. And I think if you're a fan of Pokemon, you have to try this out. I mean, it's one of those games, like a rite of passage. Like, have you played PokeMMO? No, we'll get on it. Because it's just one of those that you're probably going to enjoy. If you like Pokemon, you're going to like PokeMMO. It's basically the same experience, just enhanced with more players and more things to do. So genuinely, I think check it out. If you guys enjoyed this video, though, I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you subscribe if you want more content like this, and we'll catch you in the next video.